What's going on there, YouTube? And welcome to Fresh Comic Stories. Guys, this is the channel that we basically sit down and cover different kinds of comic book stories. Now, guys, today we are going to jump back over to DC Comics. And matter of fact, guys, we are going to wrap up the Reign of the Superman storyline. Now, this was a storyline that DC did back in the 90s where they killed off Superman and replaced him with 4 new Supermen, which was the Eradicator, Superboy, Steel, and Cyborg Superman. Now, this video is going to give us the last 2 chapters of this event right here, and then we're going to move into the return of the Superman. So if you like today's video, please leave me a like down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories like this in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. Guys, I do hope you enjoy. Now, Superman number 79 is a little weird because even though it is about Cyborg Superman, the story really focuses on a guy named Ronald Trope. Now, this is not his first time appearing in DC Comics. He has been around for a little bit. The last time he was seen was when the friends and family of Clark Kent were packing up Clark Kent's stuff after he died. And Ronald went to Perry White, the man who owns the Daily Planet, for a job. Except the job he asked for was no other than Clark Kent's old job. And so Perry White told Ronald that if he wants Clark Kent's old job, he has to bring in a story that is just as worthy as Clark Kent's older stories were for the Daily Planet, leaving Ronald Trope to figure out what kind of story he can cover that will secure him a job at the Daily Planet. Now, Ronald's idea is to go talk to Maxwell Lord, who at this point in DC Comics was the Justice League liaison. Basically was put there to keep tabs on the Justice League for the American government. But we hear Maxwell Lord is meeting up with the President of America, and so Ronald plans to get an interview with Maxwell Lord to learn what he must tell the President. And so while he waits for Maxwell Lord limousine to pull up to the White House, which it does, he comes to find out that Maxwell Lord is being held hostage by terrorists who are trying to use Maxwell Lord to get to the President. Now, of course, you have the White House go into defense mode to protect the President, where we learn that the White House has been upgraded recently with new weapons to protect the place, weapons from LexCorp and Star Labs. Now, while this terrorist attack is going on, word gets out to the world about what is happening, where we see Cyborg Superman heard what happened and flew to the scene. This, of course, leads into him doing what he does best, which is beating down on the terrorists and preventing them from completing their goal. Now, while he is doing this, Ronald is watching this beatdown and seeing some new features of what Cyborg Superman can do. What I mean about new features of Cyborg Superman is that we see Cyborg Superman being attacked by the weapons of the White House. Because of the White House defense computer system, it looks at Cyborg Superman as an enemy. But that is when we watch Cyborg Superman's cybernetic arm turn into some kind of sonic disruptor, where basically it was able to shut down the White House defense system. Except that is not the only new feature we see from Cyborg Superman in this book. He was able to turn his cybernetic arm into a device where he is able to connect to the White House computer system, where he was able to find news reports about stolen stuff that are dangerous to have out in the public. And he is not just collecting reports in Washington, D.C. He's actually finding information about these different dangerous goods that have gone missing from companies all over the world. After he does that, he looks at Maxwell Lord and blows up his suitcase. The reason why is because the terrorists replaced his suitcase with a bomb because they knew their first plan was going to fail, and so they had a backup plan, a bomb in a briefcase that would be close to the president to kill him. This is where we jump into the next day, where we pick up with Ronald back at the Daily Planet, where you have him confronted by Perry White about his story, where you have Perry tell Ronald that his story is going to be on the front page and he is now Clark Kent's replacement, where we see that Ronald's story is going to be titled "That Superman is Back," making the world believe that Cyborg Superman is actually the real Superman. Now, when it comes to the adventures of Superman number 502, we pick up with Superboy aka Connor Kent once again, where we see DC was continuing this idea of Superboy being a superhero for Metropolis, except anytime he does anything that's superhero wise, the GBS, the rival company to the Daily Planet, would be there to film it live. And so we pick up with him right now just saving a car from falling off a bridge. Except while he is doing that, he is greeted by Supergirl, and this is the first time they are meeting. Something else to point out is that this is not the Supergirl you remember. This is a being called the Matrix that was able to change forms. And so it took the form of Supergirl and started dating Lex Luthor too. It's weird, but the reason why she is here is to invite Superboy to meet Lex Luthor because apparently Lex Luthor has a deal for Superboy to take. Now this is where we pick up with the character named the Stinger, and honestly it is a horrible name for a villain, but whatever. This guy is a mercenary, and of course he was hired by some random man to go after Superboy, and so we are going to see the Stinger in this book trying to defeat Superboy. Now getting back to Superboy, we pick up with Superboy meeting up with Lex Luthor and Supergirl at Lex Tower for dinner. And so Lex brought Superboy here to have him sign an exclusive deal with Lex Television Company, basically wanting to take Superboy away from the GBS and bring him over to his company where they can make so much money. Lex even uses Supergirl as a way to lure Superboy to sign the deal because Superboy has a crush on Supergirl. And so after a few pages, you have Superboy agree to join Lex and now must tell Tara Moon and the GBS that he is leaving them to join Lex Luthor. But when Superboy goes to tell Tara Moon that he is leaving, of course, she is with her boss Vinny, and they are right now at the old apartment of Clark Kent. This is how messed up things get. You have Vinny tell Superboy that Clark Kent's old apartment will now be his, since Clark Kent is now presumed dead. Vinny bought the place as a way to keep Superboy on their payroll. To top it off, he wants Superboy to sign an exclusive deal as well. Now Tara knows that Vinny is using Superboy and wants to stop him, but Vinny tells her that she is easy to replace as a reporter, and she will have a hard time finding a job if she tries to stop him. And so Tara has to let Superboy go down this harsh road. This is where we pick up the next day, and we see Superboy flying over Metropolis carrying the front part of a train. But while he is flying around, out of nowhere, something hits him and sends him flying across town. And with that happening, you have Superboy wondering what is going on, because honestly, he could have dropped this part of the train on innocent people. Now when he flies back up after putting the object down to see what in the world is going on, that is when he is greeted by the Stinger, the mercenary sent to kill him. Now the Stinger is literally just a villain who is a mercenary. He has no powers. He just uses gadgets and stuff to take down his targets, which we see him doing right now, where he is giving Superboy a run for his money. Stinger is actually beating down on Superboy to the point where it seems like he might actually lose this battle. And so we jump forward, going underneath a bridge in Metropolis. And this bridge is going to be very important here as we are about to wrap up this story right here. But that is when you have Lex Luthor send in Supergirl to help Superboy out, but also figure out why Superboy is working alongside the GBS 4, because Superboy told Lex that he would join Lex's team. And so you have Supergirl join in the battle, which of course gives Stinger a run for his money now. Now he has to fight against two super people. This is where you have Stinger tells Superboy and Supergirl that he does not have time for this. And so you have Stinger run away, except we see him plant bombs in the bottom of the bridge, which of course blows up, and this leads to the bridge collapsing, which means innocent people are now dying. And we see that Tara Moon was able to put it together that Vinny, her boss, planned all of this to happen. Then as we close this book and also close the Reign of the Superman storyline, we actually pick up in space where something is flying towards the Earth. Something else is coming to Earth to cause more problems, which leads into the return of Superman. And so guys, this is where we are going to end today's video. And so guys, please leave me a like down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories like this in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'm out of here, and I will see you on the next comic book video. Later, guys.